Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And we got some pretty cool figure news for this week. The most impressive one is without a doubt the Metal Build Sniper Pack, which is made for the Metal Build Astray blue frame. Now so far we don't know everything yet, but we do already know quite a bit. The pack comes with a foldable sniper rifle, a sensor unit for the head, and an extra handgun. It is compatible with other metal builds that take striker packs, and pre-orders start on the 21st and can be yours for 9,900 yen, around 90 US. And then if you still need more information before pulling the trigger on deciding whether or not you want this amazing looking thing, you'll get that on the 20th. So hopefully I can still squeeze that into next week's Gundam News. Then, next up, they announced the next lineup of Gundam Universe action figures. And lo and behold, the Shenlong Gundam is part of them. Meaning that fans of Gundam Wing and the Gundam Universe action figure series can now complete their set of the 5 original Gundam Wing Gundams. Something that they're so proud of that it's even advertised. Makes you wonder when we're finally getting that high grade, doesn't it? But anyways, ignoring that odd metallic colored beam effect part on the Naginata and the lack of colored eyes on the Dragon Fang, it does look pretty nice overall. And the same goes for the Sazabi. Overall, it is a nice action figure, but again, it has a weird metallic beam effect. This time it's kind of like yellow golden, and some of the smaller details you're still gonna have to paint yourself. So the best one of the bunch is without a doubt the Master Gundam. And all of the figures are currently slated for a May release, with the Shenlong and Master Gundam going for 3,300 yen, 30 US, and the Sazabi, of course, being a little bit more expensive at 4,730 yen, a little under 45 US. Then, if you want one, pre-orders are open as we speak, and I will also have them linked down below, as well as the links to pre-order the Rambaral and Friends action figures that we talked about last week. Then for the Gunpla news, the Gundam base decided to release a titanium finish version of the real great Hi-Nu Gundam on January the 22nd for a whopping 9,900 yen, around 90 US. So, first of all, it is definitely cool that they're releasing an awesome limited edition of an already awesome real grade. The titanium finish is the best kind of finish by a long shot, and combined with the fact that the new Gundam has a lot of undergating, does make it that little bit extra good. But keep in mind that there are still some visible nub marks, something you can learn more about in my review of the regular version, which I'll have linked on screen. And then another thing that you might want to pay attention to is the silver. Because even though the gold does look shinier, I wouldn't necessarily call it better, the silver looks about the same as on the regular version. And if you look at some of the promotional pictures, the front skirt has this, the right front skirt has the same inconsistency as my regular version. So if you want a perfect titanium finish real grade Hi-Nu Gundam, you might be better off doing it yourself. That is, of course, if you can find one, because judging by the comments on that aforementioned review I did, it does look like a lot of people want the Hi-Nu Gundam but simply cannot get it. Which then makes me wonder if Bandai maybe should be focusing their attention on producing more regular versions rather than already putting out a limited version. Then again, I'm sure that this will earn them more. And talking about limited edition kits, starting today, voting has started for the best premium Bandai Gunpla General Election 2022. I'm just gonna go ahead and say none of them are because, well, Premium Bandai simply makes it a pain in the ass to get certain Gunpla if you're not in an area that Premium Bandai covers. In all seriousness though, there is actually a point to the election, as the winners will get a restock. So I'll have that link to the voting page down below, but keep in mind, to vote, you do need a premium Bandai account. Voting for the master grades, real grades, perfect grades, and others will be carried out from the 13th until the 24th, with results being announced on the 27th, and then from the 28th until February the 8th, voting for the high grades will take place with results being announced sometime mid-February. As for the things we could get this week then, for 2,200 yen, around 20 US, there was the high-grade Gundam 00 Quanta with its very military-inspired color scheme and accessories. For 2,420 yen, a little over 20 US, there is the high-grade Gundam Barbitauros, a very unique looking Gunpla in more ways than one. And then the final Gunpla was the entry grade Strike Gundam for 770 yen, around 7 US. And this is of course a version that comes with the beam rifle and the shield. Now, one thing that I do find a bit funny is that they advertise it as being compatible with the Ale Striker pack. You know, the one striker pack that comes with a Strike Gundam that's actually on par with the entry grade. So why not show it as compatible with a striker pack like the Perfect Striker that comes with the absolutely horrendous old high-grade strike, or the Gun Barrel Striker that comes with the 105 dagger? Or go absolutely crazy and show that it's compatible with newer striker packs like the Doppelhorn or the Nuclear Striker, because why not? But anyways, on to this week's reading material, the weekly Big Comic Spirits featuring Gundam Bandiera, and the weekly Mobile Suit Bible featuring the Jinx. And with that, let's move on to this week's Gundam Apparel, where we got an addition to Bankore's last shooting lineup. There's a zip-up hoodie for 4,950 yen, 45 US, a navy or white t-shirt for 3,300 yen, 30 US, jogger pants for 4,400 yen, 40 US, shorts that are comfy and easy to wear for 3,850 yen, 35 US, and a baseball cap for 4,180 yen, a little under 40 US. Pre-orders for all of these items started on the 13th, which is today at the moment of recording, and they're currently slated for a February release. Over at the Gundam Café then, they released their final entertainment news, which is basically their monthly update of like what's going to be happening at the Gundam Café and the kind of stuff they're going to be selling for that month. Things like a resale of the Gundam Seed Destiny beer glasses, the Xeon beer glasses, which also look like they come with a matching plaque, and of course the memorial menu items celebrating over a decade of the Gundam Café. And with the end now coming very near, like the one in Osaka closed on the 10th, I cannot help but wonder what the future is going to be for the main one, the Gundam Café Akihabara. Is it just going to become something different entirely? Like, is another store going to buy it up? Is another cafe going to buy it up? Or is Gundam going to keep the venue of the Gundam Café but just transform it into something else that's Gundam related? Like, on the official closing announcement, they did say to look forward to future projects. And considering the time and money they spent on revamping the whole thing, I wouldn't be surprised if they would still try to do something with it. But regardless, we're wrapping up this episode with some Gundam polls. First up, the currently ongoing one. With the Gundam The Origin exhibition starting on the 22nd, Gundam.info wanted to know which machine that Char piloted in Gundam The Origin we liked the best. And the standings so far are both surprising and not surprising at all. Like, the leader by a long shot, take a wild guess, is of course the Char Custom Zaku 2 with 359 votes so far, which is more than all other options combined. Really, I don't think this needs much explaining as to why that's number one. If you were to walk up to any Universal Century Gundam fan and you ask them, which is Char's most famous mobile suit? Just like straight up without giving options. I would be surprised if their answer wasn't his custom Zaku 2. Like, heck, I think it's even fair to say that not only is it Char's most iconic machine and one of the most iconic mobile suits, I think it might even be one of the most iconic mechs, period. And then in a distant second place with 93 votes, we have the Gun Tank Early type, which somehow managed to beat out both of the Zaku ones that Char piloted in the origin. Now, I do quite like the Gun Tank, especially some of its variants like the Gun Tank 2 or the mass production type, but I never would have expected it to beat out the Zaku 1, like another less popular machine that I'm personally a huge fan of. And even when you take its role in the anime into account, I'm still surprised that the Gun Tank is beating out the Zaku 1s. Even when you take its role in the anime into account, I am still surprised that the Gun Tank is beating out Char's custom Zaku 1, which has 66 votes, and Char's custom colored Zaku 1, which has 63 votes. So yeah, if you want to try to turn the tide in this poll, as always, I will have the link down below. On to the results then of a previous Gundam poll, which is which Gundam announcement for 2022 we got the most excited about. And the results here are much more as you'd expect. All the way at the bottom with a mere 1.2%, we have Mobility Joined Gundam, which is a series of SD Gundams like that focuses mostly on mobility, as the name indicates. As I said during the poll, like when it was still ongoing, I doubt most people buy SD figures for their articulation, and at this point there's just so many SD figures, like it just probably got lost in the sea of other SD figures. Next up then is Gundam Evolution, the hero shooter game, and GP 2022 with 1.6% each. And while I can understand why that tournament scored lower, I definitely find it interesting to see how Gundam Evolution compared to Gundam Arsenal Base, which is the arcade game that scored 2.4%. I don't think a tactical arcade game would have beaten out a computer first-person shooter in any other country. And then rounding up the stragglers, we have the Gundam The Origin exhibition and the new Gundam 00 stage show with 3.4 and 3.7% respectively. And then percentages jump up significantly as we get to the battle for third place. The full-scale new Gundam with its special fin funnel lost out by 0.3% to Kukuru's Dawan's Island with 13.6%. In second place then we have Iron-Blooded Orphans G, the application that has taken such a long time to develop that many people, myself included for a while, were questioning if the damn thing was even still going to be releasing. But it seems like we are finally getting it in 2022. And with this thing, we're not only getting an anime, but also a mobile game. Combine this then with that long wait, and I can definitely see why people would be very much anticipating this in 2022. Just like I can totally understand why The Witch from Mercury won out with a whopping 39.9%. Personally, I don't have much more to speculate about that, well, I didn't already speculate about in previous videos, and the author of this article mainly wonders about the same things. Is Mercury, the planet, going to be involved, or is it just like some kind of nickname for someone or something? And of course, the big question on everyone's mind, will it be Universal Century or will it be an alternate universe? And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.